Welcome to Thunder Bay Live. I'm here at the Renaissance Cafe. I'm here with Patty Hajdu. Patty, you're running for the Liberal position of MP for Thunder Bay Superior North. Thank you, because I always say Thunder Bay Nipigon, but they changed the name. I know that. Patty, a lot of people out there are interested in knowing a little bit about you. Could you tell the people out there something about your background?
Well, I'm a longtime resident of Thunder Bay. I've been here since I was 12, and I'm a mother of two sons, 18 and 21. And currently I run Shelter House, but I've had a long history in public health and contributed to the community in a number of ways.
Now, Patty, I understand you had some jobs that relate to helping people and being involved in the community. One was the drug strategy director. Could you tell us a little bit about the type of experiences that you've had that sort of give you the strength and the background to run for this position?
Well, I think starting with my experience as a mother and multitasking, I put myself through school as a mature student and worked full-time while raising two boys. So certainly the ability to manage many portfolios at once is a strength that I have. I think the other thing, though, is that certainly through the drug strategy and a lot of the work that I did in public health, that ability to pull partners to the table and come to a common solution for very difficult problems like substance use, for example, is something that I can offer. Oftentimes, we tend to think of solutions as one way, but in fact, when you bring many partners to the table, you find out that there are a number of ways to deal with difficult situations like that, and so that is a strength that I think that I can offer. And finally, I think the education that I've received through both Lakehead University as an alumni, but also most recently through the University of Victoria with a Master's of Public Administration, that's given me the academic background and the know-how in terms of how to actually determine if research is good, how to write a decent report, how to analyze the economy, and those kinds of things I think are very helpful in seeking this position.
Now, Patty, I know that you've been involved with the Liberal Party. Why did you choose the Liberal Party?
I chose the Liberal Party because the values of the Liberal Party most closely align with my own personal values and the values of the organization that I run. And two in particular really stood out for me, and one is the value of compassion. Very rare do you see that value spoken about in politics, but I think when we lead with compassion as a society, actually the outcomes are better for everybody. But the other value that I really admire of the Liberal parties is that of evidence-based policymaking. And too often we make laws and regulations, and we've seen this happen many times in history where it's determined that a specific approach is the best approach and it's not necessarily lining up with the evidence. And I think that when we look at what the evidence says, we come up with a better policy for everybody that gives everybody a really fair shot at success.
Now, Patty, I understand the Liberal Party made a big announcement just recently. Could you tell the people out there a little bit about what that announcement entails?
Absolutely, yeah. It was a very exciting announcement. There was an announcement yesterday that as part of the historic infrastructure spend of $125 billion over the next 10 years, $20 billion of that would be committed to affordable and supportive housing. So a range of housing across from the most supportive all the way to independent new units. And I think that's something that, as you know, in our community, we've really struggled with. We have 900 people on the waiting list right now for affordable housing in our community. And across the North Shore, throughout the riding, people are struggling with things like property taxes, properties that are not maintained, social housing that's needs an immense amount of renovation. This money would be dedicated to ensuring that Canadians can access housing and good housing when they need it. And the reason why that's important is it provides that foundation for families to truly start to grow and to be able to access education, get better employment, take care of their health, and move forward and become contributing members of their society. And so for me, that was a very exciting announcement because it is a foundation of health and something that the federal government should and can provide for municipalities and community members.
I'm glad to hear that. As a city councillor, obviously we're very aware of the housing issues in our city. Could you tell us a little bit because homelessness has become an issue in our city. How would that help the homeless in our city?
Well, I know that, for example, co-op funding is coming to an end. So we see the housing situation now as severe. Imagine when all the co-ops that have been in a partnership with the federal government, when those agreements come to an end in the next 5 years, and we have, let's say, another 500 people on the rolls for affordable housing. We have a dire need for housing in our community, and when we have affordable and accessible units, it alleviates all the costs on the emergency services. I run Shelter House. And as you know, I've come to the municipality many, many times for increases, and that's because we are currently at 140% capacity of what we were originally built for. And what that means is we are spending an enormous amount of money on a Band-Aid solution. What we really need is to start investing in long-term solutions that eventually alleviate the load on services like the police and the ER and the fire and ambulance and shelters, and move away from these emergency solutions and into long-term solutions that will, in the end, help everybody thrive.
Patty, thank you very much for being here at the Renaissance Cafe and on Thunder Bay Live. We hope to see you again addressing other issues that maybe people have concerns about. Patty Hajdu, running for the Liberal Member of Parliament in Thunder Bay,
Superior North.
Superior North. Thank you, Patty, and we'll come back some other time.
Thanks, Elton.
Always a pleasure.